Okay, cool. Let's move it on to something good. I believe, Donnie and Ben, you've been playing something pretty big.
Yes, something very new. Anyway, Forspoken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caging.
Yeah. I've gone in calm there, Good old Forspoken. No, listen. I've been hot on Forspoken since it was launched, or since we first saw it as Project Athia. I always thought, this thing looks great. And it's been a bit controversial of late, shall we say, throwing out review codes to about 6 people, embargoing it the morning of doesn't exactly help your case there. But Ben, I don't know about you. I clocked 20 hours on it so far. There's a lot about this game. Like, I feel as though there's been a lot of controversy, especially in the last week, about dialogue and people posting videos of what they're classing as cringy dialogue, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like,
can I on the dialogue thing?
Please, yeah.
It's not bad. It adds to the game.
Yeah,
like I genuinely think it's fitting.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 types of dialogue. Obviously, you've got this sort of story stuff where you've got this young woman who's, she's a hustler from New York, so that is her personality. And I feel as though, like, the conversations kind of reflect that. I wouldn't want her to be prim and proper. I just feel as though, picking little bits like that. Like, I feel as though, like, the conversations are basically, like, they're conversations you find in any buddy cop movie since 1987's Lethal Weapon.
Yes, absolutely.
And which obviously is ironic because the protagonist, Frey, like, her rap sheet is as long as Mel Gibson's, so that kind of works out quite well. What? It's a joke.
Yeah.
But, and as well, you've got all these, like... Don't get me wrong, when you're in combat, right, and she's making all these little comments and things, where she's getting excited because she's throwing magic around, it's a bit cringy, right? It is. But anyone who's played 2018 Spider-Man, it's through that entire game. So I feel as though, well, why does Peter Parker get a pass? Because it's literally
100%. It's one of those things that there's a bandwagon people jumped on,
yes.
And it's fun. People find it fun to rag on it.
Well,
like
it was that
and
really
in the build-up,
bad trailer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
poor
that.
Trailer with that.
But equally, that part of the big thing is when she goes like, "Oh, I just move shit with my fucking mind," like that thing. Like,
and?
it's moments, and it's fine. Like it really isn't what everyone's making out. If there are things, I'm looking at people like complaining about the dialogue, and I think if that's your concern, if that's really what irritates you and you don't want to play this game, you're criticizing the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there is stuff to criticize in
this.
But that isn't it.
I was going to say, I saw a clip that it was circulating around on Twitter with where she was kind of talking to the
cuff.
The cuff.
Yeah.
And she swears at the end of it or something. And I actually thought the whole exchange was quite amusing.
So did I. That's my point. That's the exact point about buddy cop movie. That's shit like that is throughout the game.
I think it's a problem.
I thought ACG made an excellent point about the swearing piece, because a lot of people say that it swears. He said something to the effect of, when a game's in development for 4 or 5 years or what have you, what is considered like colloquial, how people speak and this type of stuff, it moves on. And so if you're speaking in a certain way and style, that could be out of date very quickly by the time you actually release the game, but it covers itself by just swearing a lot, because that doesn't go out of fashion.
Swearing never goes out of fashion.
And to a degree, and I don't notice it. I'm a big swearer probably in my normal life, and I don't notice it at all. Like, it fits in perfectly. It fits. This whole modern put into fantasy world thing has been done loads before, and people just have a problem with that, I think. And
it is a bit played out.
It is played out, but you know that going into the game.
Yes.
Like, that isn't something to criticise, because that is the style.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're right. The story itself is quite tropey. A girl down on her luck, obviously she gets thrust in this world, and ultimately will become the hero. You've heard this story 100 times. You'll hear it 100 times more. And it isn't anything new, but like you said, Ben, you kind of know what you're getting when you go into it. It didn't hide.
Absolutely.
It didn't hide that there's a modern element to this character.
Yeah. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you mentioned the bad. Visually, this game is poor, guys.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah,
I've heard this.
Honestly, guys, I was very quick. I was very quick to criticise Elden Ring for looking like a PS3 game. So does this. There's really is.
Yeah.
There's times where you're in the town, you're like, you know, when you see games, right, and it's like pre-alpha footage where it's just showing like little characters moving and like in a surround, like and around it, it's just like white or like a blue background, but it's not supposed to have any texture. It's like that sometimes.
Yeah, just chiming in on that. Like when you start the game up, you immediately notice, like, because it's in modern setting, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
The buildings look awful. The setting looks awful. However, what I will say is, once they've really concentrated on the open world. When it's in full flow,
it's fine.
It looks a lot better.
It does, yeah. When you're going around the fields and the scenery and the, like I'm at a bit just now, we've got lots of flowers in that, and it does look really nice. So those things are okay, but still texturally, they're not great.
On the shadow details as well, they're a bit poor, aren't they? Like anywhere that's in shade, that kind of area, it looks all really flat. Is that right?
That I haven't actually noticed that too much.
Okay.
But no. Not to say it's not there. I just didn't look for that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that, but I could believe it. It's definitely in like the town area. I think the comparison that I thought of immediately was like, you know, the first Last of Us game when it was on the original versions.
Yeah.
I always thought like I was walking down something and it was like cardboard, like at just the front of the houses and stuff. Like that's how it felt like to me, and that's what this kind of, the lack of detail is quite shocking in a way. And when you change between the graphical options, because it's got the standard like performance and then the high kind of resolution, and it's got ray tracing stuff, I changed between them all and I was like, it was really hard to notice the difference. Like, and I don't know what that says about the visuals, but yeah, I was like, what do I play on? I was like, well, I play on high frame rate, but if I put it on like high resolution, I don't notice anything different.
Good job it didn't come out when it was originally intended to then, alongside God of War.
Yeah, dread to think. It's supposed to come. It was supposed to come out last April originally, and it obviously got delayed. So, dread.
Yeah, the start of the game, Donnie. What did you reckon? Because one of my main kind of like gripes, and we'll get onto the good. We're not just gonna.
No, of course.
We're not gonna pan this game, but this first couple of hours, it's extremely stop-start.
Stop-start, yeah. And what doesn't help is like when you come out of a scene and you as Frey talk to Cuff as it is, the game just stops and you have to stand there and talk. You can't walk and talk. Wait. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And when it finishes talking, it's like 3 seconds before it allows you to move. And I know that doesn't sound. It is jarring. Yeah. It's not nice.
Yeah. That and then of course and then annoys me because we're in you know, like this is a PS5 only game. There's no last gen, and NPCs just stand around. Like there's no life to them, so they're just you'll see some of them walk from A to B, but there's no like playing. Like if any of you have played Horizon Forbidden West, where the towns feel literally alive, like that's PS5. That's what you should get in Series X and PS5. That's modern gaming. This is like literally just NPCs just standing there, like, all right, what are you up to?
What are you walking to? Where are you walking from?
Yeah. No work today, pal. No, nothing. No. Yeah.
But that's it. There are many positives to this game.
Yes.
The framing is going slightly awry here, but go on to the good.
Yeah, we've started on the negative. We have, right? But to get the bad out of the way, because the combat, guys, is fucking brilliant. Like the mix of spells you have between your sort of left and right triggers, where like your left one's more of a sort of support magic, your right's kind of the aggressive one, is brilliant, and it's so fun. And you've got dozens of spells between your sort of two triggers, and there's like the only sort of timeout with them is using them once. So you can just flip between spell, and just do lots of different combos of spells, and it's great. It really is. And that I can't see that getting boring. Particularly where I am now, where I've got past the first boss, so I've got new spells, and it's all like fire. So I'm like releasing like big walls of fire and stuff. It's fucking brilliant. So that side of things is so rewarding and so fun, and I can't fault it there at all.
And that's something I think when you start the game, I think you have to get to the stage where it allows you to do free flowing combat, because for a long time, like the first few hours, once you've got into the world that it wants you to be in, you're just like, please let me do it. Yes. Please let me play, because actually the combat, even when you start with very few spells, which I think then get out of date quickly once you got the proper big bad boys and do the first boss, but you can tell, you can go, there is something here, and it is fun, it's impactful. The only problem I had with it was the controller mapping, which I changed everything. I really don't like the triggers on the... pressing the trigger constantly. It's like, for me, I don't really like the PS5 controller. I had to remap it and everything, but it allows you to do that.
That's quite cool.
It allows you to change everything. And I thought that was brilliant.
So what did you move your R1s, R2s, and Ls?
Well, I first of all moved it to face buttons, and then I moved it to just R. I switched R1 and R2 eventually, just because I wanted a click, just so I could press it constantly. I don't like pressing R2 constantly. Like, that's why I wouldn't like to use like single round bullets in shooters. I just don't think it works well on the controller. So, and it just hurts after a while. It's just not great. But if you remap, but as I said, it allows you to remap it, and I did that on the demo as well. I remapped on the demo, and I took the resistance off the triggers and all that kind of stuff, because I'm just like, fuck this noise, this fucking controller, just be normal. But it's once you get over that, like, the combat is fun.
Yeah,
and the world has so much in it.
Yeah, it's
like,
huge.
You're overloaded with different things, dungeons and stuff. You're, wow, okay, this is fucking cool.
Yeah, it kind of goes into kind of full Ubisoft mode, which, depending on your opinion on that and whether you like that or not, will determine if that's for you or not. But you can miss all that out, just beeline the story. And I believe you can beeline it. I think it's about 15 hours you can.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that does make sense.
Yeah. Like,
because the first like checkpoint, the first thing it wants you to go to, you can do so much stuff in between. Find little huts and it'll tell you more places, all this kind of stuff, or you can just go there.
Yeah. So where I am now, it's the same thing. You basically got like 3 areas before you get to the next story boss. So it's massive. And, like I said, it's your choice to do it or not. If you do it, you'll be stronger. If you don't, then who cares? Just go and enjoy the story.
It's overwhelming, the amount of stuff. It's very, as you said, Ubisoft was
very Ubisoft.
It's a good example.
Yeah.
The one of the things that I would say, though, and I'd like to get your opinion because you played more and have more at your disposal. My thinking is that the movement is quite loose, and I don't know whether that will carry on or you get much better at it. But I find like the combat movement and stuff quite loose, and movement around the world, and I think at harder difficulty levels that could be a bit problematic.
It could be, especially if enemies get behind you, I guess, because sometimes that does catch me out as well. But I just find the traversal so much fun.
Yeah, but how you travel around is pretty good.
It's great, particularly when, like, I've now unlocked like a grappling hook. So I can. It's so fluid. It's really, really good in that sense. Yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot to this that people are missing.
Yes.
And not really giving the time. And to be honest, it is a long game. And not a lot of people have the open world thing where they want another one right now. There's Hogwarts around the corner. Yeah. I not sure that I'm going to play too much more of this for the moment. I probably will play in time. It's just there's a lot going on, a lot coming out. I wanted to be part of the conversation now, but I always kind of was like one foot in. And I think with these types of games with an open world, it has to take you, and you have to fully commit to it. But I'm going to probably give this back to my girlfriend, let her have it, because she's really, really looking forward to play it. And there's nothing.
She's the one who paid for it, right?
They're off a fucking game bag.
But there's nothing for me to say why you wouldn't play this. I think it seems quite good.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to keep playing because, despite obviously the negatives that I said, guys, like, I am very much enjoying this. Like, for me, I think the current score is was about 66. I think that is harsh. This game should not start with a 6 at all. It's not an 8 by any means, but it shouldn't be in the 6s. I do think there's a little bit of snobbery maybe in there, but no, I'm going to continue because I am enjoying it, and I'm doing the review for the Pure Dead Gaming website as well, so I kind of have to. Fuck's sake, Craig. So, I think for people, if your reason for not playing it is because of shit you read online, don't make that the reason. Yeah. Don't play it just now because you don't want to pay £70 for it. That is fine. Wait till it's either on PS Plus or it's £35, half price. Yeah. Then pick it up then. Don't let your reasons be people being nitpicky about fucking MCU-esque dialogue. Do you know what? Those films do pretty fucking well for themselves, so maybe stop being a bit so snobby.
Yeah, I second everything you just said. Yep. Absolutely. I think a price drop will happen because, unfortunately, this has got run over with comments and people who haven't played it.
You say that tonight, just before we started recording, this week's sales came out and it was number 4 on the list.
Oh, that's good because I heard that.
Yeah, Dead
I heard
Space
that
number
originally-
1, and it nailed it. Obviously, Dead Space. It was number 4, so it's doing
Oh, fantastic!
all right.
Because I did think I saw it on Steam charts. It was like 37 or something.
Yeah, but it's
that may
never
be
going
'cause
to
it's
stay on Steam. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that got blown well out of proportion, didn't it?
Yeah. So that is
Alright.
encouraging. Then that's good. Hopefully, it keeps it up for a couple of weeks and get some comeback on this because there's good in this and maybe they might do more. Who knows?
Yeah, indeed. Grand.
Yeah.
Eddie, that's your cue.
Thank you.